Yo, what's the crack? Austin here and Nick for the Midlife Crisis podcast. Woo! Episode 46.
Woo!
Go on, say it.
No.
That would be so cool if you had said it. Like.
No. Go on.
So this week we're going to go back to our movies.
I know, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. What are you saying you're sorry for? You love movies like
Yeah,
this.
I know. I love movies, yeah.
Self-deprecating as Nick is like, so it's just. But like, we're going to go back talk about Hollywood, and because at the start of the podcast, I think a lot of the kind of episodes started off with saying like Hollywood, where it's at, like where we felt it was at, like movies wise. Did we feel it was too woke? Did we feel it was it going in the right direction? And like, 46 episodes later, which is a year and a week or two, we realised there's a whole lot of going on in Hollywood than just being woke, and there's a whole lot of different stuff going on. And I suppose why this episode was developed was because I seen in Empire magazine there was a quote from Dakota Johnson we seen as Variety magazine said she was just talking and she was in some article and she said like she reckons Hollywood's in a mess, and she was talking about how if movies are made by execs just for profit and they don't really go to watch movies and are the movies made for the benefit of the moviegoer, or are they made for the benefit of making more profit? That's not ad lib. That's kind of my interpretation of the kind of the quote. But the point was when me and Nick were talking about Hollywood like has some good movies that coming out over the last couple of last year or two, like, and have been really good and really kind of really cool, haven't they? Like like some was like,
as I was saying, sorry. No, I was saying that in terms of box office, it's usually just one out of the top 10 movies is kind of originally, most of it, the top 10 is usually sequels and stuff that's been like based on books or comic book stuff. So
yeah, because that's what we're talking about, sequels. So a lot of big movies, box office movies, are either sequels or they're more books, and like only 5% of actual content that come down in the box office is original screenplay content. The likes of Sinners, the likes of there's the one there's Substance.
And Jordan Peele, Get Out as well, and the ones he makes they're kind of box office hits, and
But this is what we're talking about, like because like I go watch movies, but I don't go watch movies that was kind of some out of the odd movies, kind of niche movies. Like I went to see there was Mickey 17 or 18, I think it was, like it was just 17. It was very very niche, and it was kind of like a bit.
But that was from acclaimed director Bong Joon-ho, who he won an Oscar a few years ago. So.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but thanks.
No, sorry.
But maybe this is the thing, like maybe because me and you we know we have art, we love our art. This is the thing, we love our art, we love culture, and we're talking about Hollywood in terms of like what's the ideal narrative, like what's the ideal movie, like what's before it was like those like the great movies of the past, like could be Top Gun or could be like Mission Impossible, different ones like that. Like we're talking about Tom Cruise and saying like what, like, to be an actor now, do you have to does the story dictate the actual movie kind of how far the movie goes and in terms of like how good the movie's going to be, like the likes of the one we're talking about, like when we're talking about off screen was like we're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. What made that movie kind of cool? Like it was like that was a kind of something that broke the fourth wall,
and it delved into their characters from different movies as well, and the kind of kind of had Johnny Storm from the original Fantastic Four, and Wesley Snipes from the original Blade movie. We're all in it, so the kind of nostalgia, brought a bit of nostalgia.
And also brought novelty. I think that the point I was getting at was novelty. Like some of the movies are very novel. They bring in new ideas, they bring in fresh angles and stuff like that. We're talking about a Fast and the Furious. That's something like 10 sequels. And franchise movie.
It kind of drifted off after the third one, I think, because Vin Diesel had left at that stage, but then on the fourth one they brought him back, and then they kept on bringing him back, and they got more and more successful. But they kind of added actors, as you were saying, onto them in each movie.
Yeah, that's because we're saying protagonists. They always have different protagonists that kind of moves the story along. Like there's always a new, different angle, something fresh, something novel. And people apparently people love this. The novelty is like something new, something different, something surprising, something kind of grabs people's attention. So when a movie is novel, it kind of that's what works. That's one of the key.
Yeah, but I don't think it works to a point. I mean, people would get sick of it. So but I don't know why they were rebooted like 20 years later. You know.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It works for some of the movies, and then some of them like the likes of the sequels like Beetlejuice. The original was great, and then they brought a bit of nostalgia back. Like,
but they waited too. I think they waited too long. I mean, 30 years or so, 35 years.
So was that movie that it wasn't not nostalgic about it? It was just a bad script. There wasn't a new novelty factor about it.
It didn't feel like I don't know.
It missed the boat, like, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Because like I suppose so. What's the formula like? Should it be?
Well, it was successful. I mean, it was successful, but it just for me it just didn't feel like
it took a new angle or new idea. So it had nostalgia feel to get you to the box office, to get you to the cinema, but it didn't hit the spot with the novelty factor or the new ideal or the new narrative in the sense like.
But these days sometimes they do make sequels back to back, like Lord of the Rings. They did they're all 3 movies back to back.
But that was based on the book, so that was a well structured story, that was a whole narrative. We're talking about the Star Wars movies, and how they're digging the gold in so many angles.
The original one, I mean, was the going man. Who would have thought that would become a box office? But I think some of that was they had a load of merchandise as well with it. So
yeah, like who would have thought like Darth Vader became like a really cool villain, like
Don't
in
the Empire Strikes Back.
For anyone that hasn't seen Star Wars.
Yeah, this is a bit of a spoiler. The Empire Strikes Back.
No, but I suppose we're trying to get at now, like, so me and you and Kieran started off the podcast and we're looking at the movies at the start. And we thought, like, is there real kind of connection? Are we connecting to the movies? Is there kind of is there something in the movies for us, like? And me and you were talking off screen, like saying, like the new Naked Gun movie and the Happy Gilmore movie, they feel like a win for us for our humour, like in terms of like they have nostalgia.
But is that? I mean, have they waited too long though for these type of movies? Well, Happy Gilmore is actually would be on Netflix, so that wouldn't really affect the box office.
But it's a movie though.
Yeah,
it's Hollywood, like
Yeah, but I mean, have we waited too long?
Well, maybe it's just the right time. Maybe Hollywood, maybe the execs, as much as maybe we say they're profit machines, but they know what's going on. Maybe they're driving the data. Like maybe there is data scientists saying like.
Classic example. Do you remember the last Matrix movie that they did?
Revolutions or something?
Yeah. Because they waited so long. It tanked. It didn't do so great.
I thought it was dead. When I watched that movie, I thought it was so apt, like with the way the movie digs into way society attacks each other and all. Like I thought that was very cool.
No, I didn't. I think the original was by far the best.
But that had a novelty factor because that was all brand new CGI, so that was very newish. That was totally new. That totally set the precedent for movies going forward.
It didn't feel like a Hollywood movie. I mean, they didn't have the look. It was so there was dark scenes or you know what I mean.
Revolutions?
No, the original one.
Yeah, the original Matrix. Yeah. Sorry, I'm speaking of you. Go on, sorry.
No, go on. Sorry, I was just thinking, go on.
What are you going to say?
No, you go.
See, me and Nick, we've been told about 50 million times not to be talking over each other. And I noticed myself there, I talk over Nick a lot because I love being on my soapbox. Yeah. What were you saying? Go on.
No, no, you go.
Right, so I think with The Matrix, when we first watched it, like from my perspective, I was like, that was like so mind bending, like Follow the White Rabbit, like it was a psychological twist into Alice in Wonderland, bringing computers into it, like. Because it was just hit a new angle of like.
That was actually filmed in Australia.
What?
The Matrix, because you wouldn't think that Hollywood movies don't really tend to be filmed over the different countries. Usually, when you see Hollywood big blockbuster, you would think it's made in Hollywood, but actually that was filmed in Australia. Because actually there's a few actors who were for Australian in it, like Hugo Weaving's in it.
Is it so?
Yeah.
Carrie Ann Moss, was she's not.
No, she's American. But there was 2 other actors who were actually from Home and Away. Okay. Yeah, that are in this. They have brief cameos. Actually, Mouse. He was. And there's another character who was at the beginning of the movie where I think she was at the disco at the beginning of the movie, and she was. She was
the sister in Home and Away, wasn't she? She had Home and Away. She was like the sort. She was the one that found. She was the White Rabbit. She was the one. Neil had to follow.
But that was an original idea. I mean, who would have? That was from the Wachowski brothers.
Wachowski. Yeah. Do you know what's interesting? Like they I think they're trans now. I think
they're the Wachowski sisters.
Yeah. But maybe it's like art should imitate life, and it was more of a transitional because in terms of like you look at the first Matrix and the bit of philosophy around that, and kind of the cave and the cave, to Plato's cave, and this philosophical breaking out of your kind of cycle, your kind of psychic kind of cage and stuff like that. So maybe because they were trans, they were kind of talking about their body, escaping their body, and that was they used the.
Well, they weren't trans.
But they wrote the story, and then eventually they wrote 3 Matrixes about like escaping the Matrix, which was maybe in a way art imitates life in a symbolic kind of way, like that's sort of trans. And then you look at the revolutions where they say, you know, society's turning on Neo and not Morpheus, turning on Trinity, like, you know, and it's kind of like the society turned, and so it was all. I thought it was very well. I loved this. I thought the story was good. But I mean, so are we back to the point of like Hollywood and movies and stuff like that? Like, you know, movies should have an ideal.
A proper idea.
Yeah. So like this is in terms of like what's the ideal out there for movies for Hollywood now? Because if all this stuff is being regurgitated and it's all sequels, it's all nostalgia, it's all
comic book or based on a book, you know, based on a popular bestseller book.
Yeah, so I suppose maybe you were talking like, what's the new ideal like? Is the new ideal like?
If anyone has a new idea, let us know.
No, don't tell anyone. Put it down in Word document and sell it. You know, but yeah. So, but this is the thing. Good new fresh ideas are hard to come by. Maybe we're giving Hollywood had too much a hard time, like, because like if only 5% of the box office movies are actually original kind of stuff, like maybe it's just hard to do that stuff. Maybe that's like maybe Hollywood.
But I think
is fine,
I think people aren't willing to give a chance. If they know it works, you know, they're probably a bit hard to hit because they're worried that it will fail.
Yeah, but they don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, the risk. I mean, it's a risk.
Accountants like certainty, so accountants like to say, I'm going to spend this much, then I get this much back. Like,
and budgets for big budgets, movies are like they're astronomical. They're only like $500 million now for. Yeah. Sure, the latest movie, Mission Impossible, we mentioned.
Talking about that, yeah.
Like probably won't go into profit at the moment because it's not doing as good as it should do. You know, I mean, if this was like 10 years ago, I don't know, it would be a profit, but because of the budgets are just sky high.
But maybe they're trying too hard to kind of glorify the movie, and maybe it's like actually, do you know what popped in my head? And in the Dakota Johnson, the quote, like there was this kind of movie I seen called Daddy-O, and Sean Penn and Dakota Johnson were in it, and they're in a taxi, and it's literally dialogue, like the whole movie's about these two people in a taxi talking about the like life and stuff like that, and giving their philosophies, like. And I loved the movie. I watched it literally, and there's very few movies I watch now, like, and watch them to the end and stuff like that. But that movie I watched, that was on Sky Movies, and Daddy-O. And I say the budget on that is like little or nothing, like, but maybe what Hollywood's trying to do was like throw out a big movie and trying to get as many people to watch it as they possibly can. I mean, I don't know. But
they do know that you don't need a big star or big budgets. Sure, look at the Blair Witch Project back in 1999. That was all based on a kind of campaign on the internet. They got people excited because they thought it was based on a real life thing. Because the way they presented it was based on a real life story. And that's what made it so scary. You know, you see the clips of them just scared.
And at the end, I was like at the end, I was like actually scared. I was genuinely scared. Yeah, I was though, because I was like, oh, maybe you have to want suspension of disbelief. Like,
yeah, that was the original. And then they made a mess of it by adding 2 more sequels. You know, which were like
cash cow. They want to get money somehow. Like, look at all the movies they have the horror movies, like the Ring, and they had all different things like just like.
Well, people like horror movies, but I mean, the Blair Witch Project was something. The commercial advertising of that was kind of brand new. Brand new.
But obviously we're not running a kind of like a kind of movie house, like, or what you call it, the not the word
artist.
No, it's like a movie franchise, or so like we don't have to come up with the algorithm of like the best movie, but maybe there is better movies out there. And maybe there is ways to produce better movies, and I think Hollywood are doing a good job now from what I'm looking at. Like,
well, because I mean they're rehashing a lot of movies that have been done before. I mean, although tracking on these movies seems to be good, like high, like the new Fantastic Four movies coming out, and there's a new Superman movie. I mean,
that looks good in this film.
I know.
You're right about that. Like,
I know, but I mean, when people,
and you're look at Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Look at Naked Gun. I watched the trailer for that the other day, Liam Neeson, like, and I thought, like, oh, that's such a looks a cool movie. Like,
that's from Seth MacFarlane. I mean, he did.
Yeah, but Family Guy, like,
Family Guy, yeah.
But like, that's kind of my humor, like dark humor. I love that stuff. Like, I'm holding a lot of hope for Happy Gilmore too. Like that, it kind of has the dark humor, the kind of funky kind of taboo humor, like just kind of banter humor. I kind of like that though. But I feel like it's a win. I think it's a win. Like Happy Gilmore 2 and Naked Gun coming out as well.
But, I mean, Happy Gilmore 2 was another one that should have been made. Probably, like that's nearly 30 years. That's after the first one.
Yeah, but why would we? I think now is the best time to make it because it's like when people need it mostly. When it's kind of like. When it's like people that, when you hear like cancel culture and stuff like that, and people say it's like certain things you can't say or else it's going to be cancelled, they're going to be whatever. Like, but I mean, that's the best time when you.
That's what I'm afraid will happen here because
this what I said when they said you should hear what he says off camera. But no, but I think Hollywood are doing okay. I give them thumbs up. I don't think they're doing too bad a job. To be fair, I think.
Sure, Tom Cruise saved Hollywood in 2022. He brought Hollywood back to life.
Yeah, the Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick, yeah.
That was a really good movie. I really like that.
And they kind of changed. They didn't make it as like the first one. They kind of.
Yeah, that had the novelty. That had the nostalgia and had the novelty. That was a good formula. Because when you talk about something, we talked about the Beetlejuice movie where. That was like it was all nostalgia, but there was no novelty to it. Like there was no novelty. But Maverick had nostalgia. It was true to the story and it had novelty. And it was also It was also appropriate for the times, and it was just very appropriate. Like it had a good formula. Had good things to it. Like where like and even Wolverine and Deadpool. That was a good movie. I watched that on kind of Disney like with my kids and they loved that like. And the soundtrack goes a long way. I'm just a sucker for music, boy. We all know that. But I just love it.
Was Madonna in that scene where?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Was it like a prayer? Was it no?
I think it was like a prayer. Yeah. But the dog running in with the tongue and stuff like that.
And obviously from past. We dressed up as Deadpool or past
Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, so it's good though. It is good. But I think Hollywood's doing better. Like,
but the budgets are just sky high. They're making. I mean, they cannot make a budget because no movie's going to make a profit now. You'd have to be making $1 billion worldwide to make a profit for a movie these days.
But I think they don't need to go so big with the budget.
No, they don't. They don't.
I think they're kicking themselves they're kicking themselves they're kicking themselves. I don't know what's that, kicking themselves in the heel or something.
Or
kicking themselves in the foot.
Kicking themselves.
But I don't think they need to go too big with the budget. There's like lots of movie examples out there where I imagine like the story was good and the budget wasn't massive
they're called art house movies. Indie movies.
Yeah. Well, I think more indie movies. Maybe that's the way forward. I mean, more indie movies, and that's the kind of.
But that's the risk. That's the risk. I mean, the risk goes.
Well, here's the thing: if you take a budget for whatever, I don't know, just
Avatar,
and if you use that budget for like 10 indie movies, I think you're going to get you talk about accountants. Talk about accountants run the world. There has to be some accountants out there with a bit of creativity,
Yeah.
You know what I mean, but I didn't watch Avatar 2 anyway, so I don't know.
But Avatar 3 is coming out.
Avatar 3
is coming out. I mean, they're
Avatar 1 was good enough. I don't want to bring out sequels. I
know.
I'm spending like $2 billion or $1 billion, $2 billion.
That was the highest grossing movie of all time. The first one when it came out, and
I think they're putting all the profits back into making the second one.
And apparently, it's supposed to be. He's filmed at least 4 of them, I think. So I mean, can James Cameron make a good? Even he's another one who likes to spend a lot of money. Sure, Titanic. Another one was the highest grossing movie, although it did win him about 11 Oscars. But
Titanic had the kind of had the nostalgia, had the novelty, but also had the heart. Had a human story, the tragedy that was historically significant. So I had a kind of had an audience there that kind of knew about the movie at the best of times.
Yeah.
So it's like had a kind of a bit of a formula for it. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. But yeah. But this is a Hollywood backward thing. So my opinion is Hollywood's back. It's doing better.
Is it real?
I think it is. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is.
I don't know.
I think why give Hollywood such a bad time? I mean, like I think, do you know what it is?
But I think what happened with Hollywood is at the moment, well, maybe that's the reason because 2019 was so successful. They had the Avengers, they had the last Star Wars. The Avengers actually, the last Avengers one, they thought was going to be the last Avengers. Apparently, there's a few more coming out soon.
I'm sure, like, what's Iron Man's come back out, and the not Doctor Evil, but Doctor
Doom.
Strange, Doctor Doom. Yes, I mean that's all. I think it's a lot of good stuff coming out. Like I don't see.
There's no Iron Man coming back. Iron Man's
no,
gone.
what's this daughter or something? I've seen a snippet for that. Like
spoiler.
What?
Look, that's for another day. And I'm thinking, yeah. So 2019, but then they thought that, well, at first no year was going to be 2019. 2019 had a load of big movies. 2020, then that's what happened. The pandemic happened, and then the people were afraid to go back into the cinema, and then streaming service Disney Plus got into the market. They cornered all the market and brought Disney brought in their streaming service. So they made people, so people didn't have to go to the cinema; they could just watch them at home. Yeah. And then the strikes happened, the writers' strikes and the actors' strikes. So people weren't making movies as much, going on strike, and that's kind of set the Hollywood back a bit more. As well.
We were talking about the bots and stuff like that, and the chatbots on the internet. There's a possibility that some of the chatbots are AI or they're kind of algorithm, and they're just kind of throwing out shite there just to stir the pot. Like so, maybe it's a bit of AI bots, murky in the water or something. Like that. It's a possibility. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theory, but I was looking at some science about AI bots and how they can influence people's decisions and stuff like that.
All through, there was only one movie after 2021. The last Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, that kind of escaped everything. Well, it came out in 2000, it was the end of 2021. So that kind of started the people going back into cinema. Well, I would say Top Gun, but that was the kind of first one, because that would, obviously they had, if you see the movie, there's a few bit of big spoiler in there, Yeah,
and sure, like the cinema, we talked about where's the cinema over beside the Woolshed. What's it? Cineworld. They got close to the bar there, so it's not beer, So why would they do that? The problem is some of the cinemas, the people that run the cinemas don't know how to run businesses, So look at the generation, we all drink. If I go to cinema, I go to cinema tonight if I knew there was a bar there, I'd have a pint and I go to cinema, and that would be my.
So what do you think about it?
Yeah,
we did that last week.
But here's the point. If City would have any sense, they'd open up the bar again to get more beer. You can go to the movies. I'd definitely go. I do as a tour.
Well, I think that's the problem because of the pandemic and stuff.
But how long's the pandemic on now? What was ages ago? We're 3 or 4 years on for the pandemic. So open the bar, lads. Open the bar. Get us to City World. Get us to watch the movies. Let's enjoy the movies again.
But the thing, you might have feel too comfortable that not going to actually go and watch the movie. But I mean, movie prices are lovely. They're astronomical as well.
Movie prices?
For the cinema tickets, they're nearly €20 for a cinema ticket.
You've never gone with kids, have you? It's cost me 70, 80
euro for one person. Yes, exactly.
One time I brought my kids, it cost me €80. Watching on the Lion King. One of them walked out of the cinema, says too scary that, and the other one got lost and then he come back from the toilet and couldn't find the cinema. So
is this
that was a shit show.
The live action version of the Lion
King? Yeah,
that was the last good year they had all the movies.
No, but I don't think the cinema price is too expensive for us. I don't know. Should the City World Pass as much as that?
I know,
€10 a month or something.
About €17 a month.
€17. You can watch on the movies
but I haven't been to cinema and I've been about 3 times in this year, and I haven't. There hasn't been anything to excite me to go, because you can see them on the TV less than 6 months.
Well, see, choose your words wisely, because you were saying there's nothing excite you, but then you're saying there's loads of stuff on TV that's also. So maybe streaming services would think that's destroying the cinema, because you can watch it from the comfort of your own house.
They've cornered the market though.
Yeah, so maybe therefore cinema should have something a bit more, exciting to go to have as well as the cinema, i.e. the bar. So you can say to your mates and the tourists, come on, we go to the bar, we have a few drinks, before we go to the cinema, and then just enjoy it that way, So be business savvy, I'm saying to the cinemas, maybe be more business savvy,
Do you still have the Screen Cinema? That one.
Screen Cinema.
Where they had all the art house movies, but I think the Lighthouse kind
That's
of
the
taking
IFSC, isn't it?
Huh?
The IFSC, the International.
No, the screen cinema. The IFSC is different cinema.
Oh, what about the Stella Cinema? The Stella Cinema is like epic, like with the big seats.
Yeah. The couches and the big couches, you know. Yeah.
That's all.
But that's pricey as well.
Yeah.
But
it was still worth it. It's great. Do you know, I brought a date there before, and I'd probably bring other dates there again. Actually, it was one of the last places I went with, and someone I'm in now, and so. But it's like, but it's nice place though.
And actually, that was the last cinema I went to before the pandemic.
Yeah. So maybe just it's not that there's nothing wrong with Hollywood now, or Hollywood's getting better, or movies are getting better. Maybe we're just at different times of our life, obviously midlife crisis, and we had the podcast to do. But if I look back and say if I was like, you know, if I was 20 again and had access to all, I did movies like all the time. There's so much new culture out there. Like, there's so much new new narratives, new narratives, new nostalgia. Like so many different angles to take. Like look at all the movie database when you look back and think of all the history.
Ultimate movie database.
Movies, like I mean. No, but the catalogue of movies.
Internet Movie Database, which is that big site.
You were talking, but the catalogue of movies now. There's such a rich history of movies. Like you can really build an AI in it, like a cool personality in it. Like
you're obsessed with AI.
You're obsessed with AI.
You're obsessed with AI.
But what you talking about the IMDb or something like that? There was like they were talking. Was it you telling me about someone that was what was the movie that we watched? Or you're watching and the Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. So remember with the movie, that's how they started the database and stuff like that, the 5-star reviews. Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
Rotten Tomatoes, yes. That started back in 1998. Yeah.
That started from a movie, from someone actually talking about a movie.
Yeah.
So like we look back in 1998 and how the internet developed and how movies developed. Like we're in a rich vein, I think, of movie storytelling. I think it's not inappropriate, but I think it's disingenuous to say like Hollywood's not doing good, because I think they are doing good. I think they are very good. I think maybe, do you know what, people are being too hard on themselves for movies wise. Maybe, you know, because like the movies that come out the last couple of years, like I don't know.
But they're not as good. It doesn't have the same.
No, I don't think it's the movies is not as good. I just think
it just doesn't have the same impact. The emotion. It doesn't have the same. I don't.
Yeah, but maybe it's the brain. Maybe it's their brains. Maybe it's some stories don't resonate. Because I very rarely watch a lot of movies, but
back in the 90s, I used to go all the time in the cinema, like, you know. But now I don't go. You know.
Maybe your brain has changed. So maybe you're more. I don't even know what the psychology of it, but maybe you're less impressed. You're less excited.
Yeah, less impressed.
There's less novelty in your life in movies, because you've seen it all. Like we've seen it all. Like maybe there's less novelty. So just back to the point. Maybe original scripts and original kind of narratives. What's the ideal movie? What movie would like spark a kind of a rebirth, or kind of.
I remember getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go and see the last Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. 3 o'clock, because it was showing at 5 o'clock in the Lighthouse Cinema. Like, come on, where would you ever have that? And I went to see like Lord of the Rings like 9 o'clock in the morning. Morning.
But they're based on movies, so maybe the comics need to develop new characters. And but then people aren't buying comics because they're watching YouTube too much or watching Facebook too much. So maybe the comics need to develop a new superheroes, or maybe some storyteller should write a new book, like a new. So this is the thing, we're waiting for the original kind of original ideas, like, and not just one original ideas, the extreme original ideas, new narratives. Like.
But even if it's original idea, it will be connected to someone who is successful anyway, or the way the marketing will be successful. These something that kind of would develop slowly, they have it on Christmas where they release all the art house movies, the Oscar friendly movies, which they roll out very slowly. So they usually do at the beginning of December. It's usually one screen, and then if it gets good buzz or it makes money, it will expand.
But maybe so that too, but also kind of a new kind of like what's like the comic books, well, they were all made in the 70s and 60s and 70s, so what, like maybe AI can make new content or new stories, or kind of reinvent some of that, like different things, but basically but that comes with generations, though, doesn't it? Maybe my kids should get into more comic books, or if there's new comic book heroes, because like you grew up with comics, so what I'm saying is like the stories are held in the youth. That's why they keep on tapping back into the nostalgia and the youth, the memory and stuff like that. So like, how can we reinvent that, like in the sense of like in today? So we have to be based on characters like Tom Cruise, for example, like he does the Mission Impossible stunts all himself, like, which is pretty amazing. Like, so maybe like he's a hero. He's an authentic hero because he does the stunts himself. Like, so he's really competent actor and stuff like that. So like just based on different hero, based on
Yeah.
Hollywood, you're doing awesome, but do better.
But that's the only movie he's made about 8 sequels. And apart from Top Gun, but that's the first movie he's ever made that was a sequel. You know what I mean? He's never made sequels before that. Yeah.
I know, but I think Hollywood. I think there's a lot of good to be said.
Like the big when in the 90s there was like 4 or 5 big stars. So there was Julia Roberts, Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, and Jim Carrey. They would never. It didn't seem like they were ever going to make. They never made a sequel, at the time. But now, things have changed and like.
Yeah, but it's not the studios, how's what the word. Yeah. It's not the studios. It's the studios. If the studios all kind of like conglomerate, like there's only 1 or 2 studios. Is there more studios? Should there be more studios like Netflix, Apple? There's Amazon, and then there's like Paramount and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, are they all fighting for the different stories? The script is there screenplays? Like, you're not giving enough money to like the people that write screenplays and enough credit. Like, is that the thing? Like, they're giving it all to the producers, and well, I'm only just speculating there, but is there not enough kind of credit going to actual screenwriters, the people that write the stories?
What happened to Matt Damon? Look what happened to Matt Damon. I think we've run out of
This is 30 minutes anyway. So
wrap it up a bit.
We'll wrap it up. But yeah, maybe so. What do you think? Where could Hollywood do better? Where do we think it would be better? What's the kind of
writing and the marketing, and getting the right screenplay, the actors and director. Well, it's about pretty much everything, and the marketing.
Yeah.
And keep the costs down. The budget.
Yeah.
The budgets are too. They don't need special effects.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go too mad on budgets. Like, they're really just wasting their money, because it's just you don't need to go too mad. Like, because there's better ways to tell a story. Like, for example, a podcast, like me and Nick.
Yes, exactly. Don't go to the cinema. Have a look at our podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, folks.
Do you want to say something about?
Yeah, we're off YouTube. We decided to conglomerate all our kind of content on Spotify and stick with Spotify going forward. So we're no more on YouTube, but if you want to find us, you find us on Spotify, the Midlife and Aces podcast. You can find us on Spotify. We're all there. Me and Nick and the gang from past episodes, but me and Nick run the show now. But we're on Spotify. No more YouTube. The channel has been deleted.
Yeah, I don't worry if you can't find it, because I tried about 5 times to try and find it and I couldn't find it at all.
But we're on Spotify. You go to our website, midlifeandaces.ie. Comment, love us, abuse us, whatever.
No.
Abuse Nick.
No.
Anyway, done a bit.
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
Wrap it up, folks. Thanks.
Bye. Hello to all the fans.